Hello, my name is Jose Matamouros. I'm a graduating student from CSUMB. For my capstone project, I decided to go through the certificate track offered by CSUMB. I chose this over a group project because for me it gave me a little bit more practical experience and a little bit more hands-on knowledge in a network and security job that I would be going for later on. A little bit of background about myself. I've been going to CSUMB now for going on 3 years. I transferred over from Hartnell in the past, and it took me a while to get to where I'm at now, but I'm very glad to be here, and it took a lot of work. So my first statement was I wanted to prepare for the job market. I wanted to be a well-rounded candidate with plenty of hands-on experience that I can apply towards a entry-level position. In today's job market, it's very difficult to find a job from what I've heard and what I've seen online. I chose these certificates because I believe they would give me the most hands-on experience and an edge over other candidates that maybe just have just a bachelor's. I did want to earn a bachelor's in computer science to build strong technical fundamentals. My concentration happened to be in network and security, so it aligned perfectly. So the certificate that I decided to choose was the CompTIA Security Plus certificate, as well as the Cisco Networking Academy to strengthen my networking skills. I do want to begin an entry-level job in IT. In fact, I do have a position that I'm currently interviewing for the Monterey County, so I'm looking forward to hearing back about that. The certificates that I decided on, like I mentioned, was Security Plus through CompTIA. It validates the foundational knowledge and hands-on skills required to assess and secure networks, manage risk, and respond to cybersecurity threats in professional IT environments. This one had, in the upwards of 50 acronyms to learn, multiple, ports and their associating services, and a bunch of, concepts that you have to really learn in order to pass the Security Plus exam. It's definitely not a type of test that you can just memorize. It's something you have to basically learn the fundamentals and apply that in real world situations. I also decided on the Cisco Networking Academy because it provides comprehensive training in networking fundamentals, preparing learners to design, configure, and manage computer networks using Cisco equipment. That's very important because a lot of the technology used nowadays in IT is through Cisco. I mean, there's obviously cloud and a bunch of other manufacturers, but Cisco is definitely year over year a very popular one, if not the most popular one. The original timeline that I had was between the first and second week. I just decided on what I wanted to really pursue. I already knew that I wanted to do the Security Plus, mostly because I had applied for a job in the past through a friend, and that was actually one of the first things that they let me know, that I didn't have my Security Plus certificate. So I knew right away that was hugely important. It was for a Deloitte firm that works for the Department of Defense, and that kind of set a light bulb in me, and I knew that I had to earn this certificate to definitely help out my chances. I also decided on Cisco Networking Academy, mostly because it's Cisco, and the brand is very, very popular in IT environments. I also set up my timeline. So for the next 2 to 9 weeks, I focused on purely Security Plus. I think the amount of hours is about 120 that it would be required to pass the exam. I wanted to focus on free resources as much as possible. So I did pick the Professor Messer Security Plus 701 video playlist that's available for YouTube. It's about 150 videos. It was very good. He explained the concepts very well, and they're most similar to the exam when I actually did end up taking it. So I do recommend that one. I also went ahead and went on the CompTIA, the PBQs that were offered through Professor Messer. Those did cost me some money. It wasn't a whole lot. I believe it was only $30, but it did give me some hands-on experience with performance-based questions, not just multiple choice questions. These performance-based questions would give you scenarios and basically just give you your own, let you do whatever you want to do there. So those were very important. Week 10 to 14, I went ahead and started wrapping up the videos. Like I mentioned, it was a lot of videos. I did pay for an affiliate program that was through Crucial Exams and CompTIA. It was, I believe, only $20 or $30 for their monthly subscription, but it gave me access to, I believe the number was over 1,200 practice questions. It gave me some performance-based questions as well, and overall very, very, very good. I actually used this when I would be at work, and there was a lot of downtime. I had a whole full PC in front of me, and I was able to just kind of go through the questions and answer them as the day progressed. And whenever a customer would walk in, I would pause what I'm doing, and then I'd help out the customer. But yeah, these were definitely the most helpful in my opinion. I did also purchase the Master Security Plus exams. Those were 3 exams that you would take. I think they're about 90 questions each, which is actually very similar to the actual exam itself. And you would grade yourself afterwards. They even had different sections where they would explain why each answer is wrong or correct. And there was 3 tests, very, very helpful. It's $30, very similar to the test. In the last couple of weeks, I did finish up the Cisco Networking Academy. That one was super short. It was basically some information. It would ask you some questions, and at the very end, you would receive a certificate. That one was pretty easy. It's not really something you have to study for. It's just very basic Cisco-related fundamentals. I went ahead and finished that up in this last week. So I did take my exam. I was able to pass that exam with I believe a 792, and I needed a 750. So I had some good room there. I was able to complete both of them. The Security Plus exam was good, just in one try. So like I mentioned, these were the resources that I used. A free online video playlist, just Professor Messer. Also, there's this other YouTube channel called Inside Cloud and Security that condensed all the information into 5 different domains. And they're basically crash courses. They range from 2 hours all the way up to, I think the domain 3 was like 4 hours. What I did with that is I didn't watch them at regular speed. I actually watched them at 1.5 speed, and I was able to get through them pretty quickly. But I soaked in a lot of the information pretty well because I had already watched so many videos, done so many practice exams that any gaps, they were kind of being filled in with this last YouTuber. So it was very helpful. I did, like I mentioned, did online practice exams. I did the Crucial Exams practice test at PBQs and Professor Messer's practice test or practice exams. I also did make flashcards for the port numbers and functions and the acronyms. There was a lot of them. There's at least over 50 terms that you had to learn, or acronyms that you had to learn. And then the ports and the services, there's hundreds of them. But for the Security Plus test exam, I think you would have to know at least like 10 to 15. So it wasn't that bad. That part wasn't that bad. What could have gone better? Because there's definitely things that could have gone better. I wish I had a more consistent and distraction-free studying environment. Like I mentioned, I was mostly doing this at work and on downtime, so I would be studying, writing down notes, watching videos, using my flashcards at work, and thankfully my job, allows me to do things like that. So it was very nice, but obviously with all, we got coworkers talking and you have customers coming in and out, it's a very distraction heavy zone, a lot of kids coming in. So unfortunately at my home, I can't really study either at home. I have a baby and a girlfriend that live at home with me. So unfortunately I can't really study at home either. This was the best place that I could have done this in. So identifying the most effective study materials earlier instead of selecting resources as I went. This is a major one for me. I was kind of just winging everything. I would, go on Reddit, find out what would be the best resource for me to review for, concepts, crash courses, any like practice exams, because there's a lot of resources that you can use, and there's a lot of a lot of different stuff that I didn't use that a lot of other people do use. So there's a lot of choices, and it's kind of hard to pick because you don't know which one's the best, right? So the ones I've listed work the best, and that seems to be a general consensus online that these are some of the best resources you can have. Creating a structured study plan to stay more organized throughout the process. Like I mentioned, my study environment wasn't the best. I do wish I had planned it out a little bit better, set aside more time at different times, but we completed it, and So it worked out in the end, right? Setting clear benchmarks to track progress and adjust strategies sooner. So I had no benchmarks for myself. I was essentially just taking these crucial exam practice tests and seeing how I'd score, because it would break it down into different domains, and it would kind of, after answering so many questions, you would see where you're lacking, and you could, kind of study that a little bit more. I didn't really do that. I kind of just studied everything as much as I can, and any gaps were mostly in concept. Like any gaps that I had about a specific concept, I would just go back and review. Another big major help that I actually didn't even list on here was AI assistant, ChatGPT. Super helpful for asking it questions, about something. If you have, if you go through a practice exam, and this happened to me a lot. Practice exam, I would find a question that wouldn't make sense for me as to why this is the answer, and ChatGPT would explain it, and it would help me out and understand the concept a lot better. And then a major one that affected me at the end was to ensure computer was compatible with exams. So the exam for Security Plus, you need to be on a super up-to-date version of Mac. My 9-year-old Mac, unfortunately, wasn't able to, I wasn't able to take the exam, so I actually missed my exam because my computer was incompatible. And so I had to use my retake, and thankfully that worked out. I went to a testing center and it worked out great. So here are my deliverables. My CompTIA Security Plus certificate. I haven't gotten it emailed yet. It does take some time, so I took a picture of it here. And then my Junior Cybersecurity Analyst Career Path exam. It's not really an exam, but it says it is. I just wanted to say thank you to the staff at CSUMB for being extremely helpful. I enjoyed my time at CSUMB. I was only in one building the whole time I was there. It was the STEM building, but I enjoyed my whole time there. Thank you to the professors, and thank you, everyone.